Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your good friend Raf of Spars. I've got news for you. I didn't watch all of AEW. In fact, I'm watching it right now. Chris Jericho has walked out with the Inner Circle, or as I like to call him, the Hellfire Club, just without Emma Frost. But he's walked out with all of those folks, and I'm catching up on what I should have seen over the weekend. And I want you guys to be excited for all the things that are happening. This is heel section or real heel section, depending on where you're watching us. I am joined by my good friend Mike Stallings. Mike, how are you doing, sir?
Doing good, Raf. How are you?
Why are you so...
Raf Esparza?
Why do you look so afraid? Is there someone off screen?
I was trying to catch up on that. I haven't seen all of NXT, so I was trying to get where you're at and kind of get back on track with that.
I have a question to pick with your background, which is, if you look in the background, why is Mickey Mouse bigger than Stone Cold Steve Austin? I don't think that's to scale.
Like in theory, or
just look behind you.
No,
is that
I understand
Mickey Mouse,
or
who is that, or is that Snoopy?
Mickey Mouse. First of all, it's a family heirloom, so
okay.
You better show some respect in your mouth when you talk about Mickey Mouse. And that Stone Cold, I don't know if that's the size, and it talks, and I don't know if I can find a 1999 battery that would suffice to get it to tell me that
it's apparently so old it just goes, and that's the
it just
said so.
Did you remember the I was a big mark for those toys, obviously. You remember the Titantron that used to play the wrestlers' music with the... Did you ever collect any of the toys? I'm good, Raf. How are you?
Thank you. Appreciate it. Great transition work there. I appreciate you thinking for a split second of like, did you collect these? You know what? I'm just going to move on. Mm-hmm. Just going to go. Mike?
I really need to tweet Zack Ryder at some point. I think it might work.
You know what? I'm not against that. Mike, we need to discuss a few things. In a week's time, a lot has happened in the wrestling world. Did you watch Smackdown Live?
I did in pieces. It was a thing, definitely. It was a
What were your thoughts on the entire presentation of Smackdown Live?
Well, I know we live in a world where it's easy to crumb on everything, but don't tell me that stage isn't the best fucking thing in all of wrestling right now. That is how you do that. They won up the Battlestar Galactica, the AEW's Battlestar Galactica titles to the rebooted Battlestar Galactica that everybody raves about. It's cool. It's really cool. You can tell Fox has their hands in it, and I think that's the reservation with it, is that Fox has its hands in it a little bit, so we kind of know that it's going to go towards them. But I also have, when we start talking about the draft, I also have a theory on that, why the draft finally matters because of the networks. But it was cool, and I thought it hit me where I didn't want it to hit me because, like I said, we're trying to be negative and funny about it. But that Rock and Becky segment was nails. That took me back to appreciating why The Rock was The Rock.
Yeah, I mean, here's the good news about that is Becky's over just fine on her own, but it is kind of nice when they...
Is she?
Yeah. I'm not saying for even in-ring work. I mean, just her ability to just hold court, she does very well. And I think that when I look at some of these other guys who are supposed to be over in their ability to talk, like, she is all talk. She's somebody who's actually gotten over just by doing... like her shtick. So I can respect that. And I've talked with people who have been like, I don't know if she's over. And I was like, she opened SmackDown for a reason. And more importantly, they gave her the prominent slot to work with The Rock for a reason, so that they can continue building off of her, because they know that she's a good investment in terms of talking. So for that, I was like, yeah. And plus, the bits that she was doing with Corbin, I was like, everybody pulled their weight on this. Corbin was great, Rock was great, she's great. It was a perfect segment to start off the show.
See, and it's funny because normally those circumstances would bury a wrestler. Like when they did Rock and Rowan at WrestleMania, and every time like what they did at Stone Cold and Carlito. It almost like takes somebody out of the game. But Baron Corbin, for some reason, in the last month, he's like almost untouchable as this King character. He's the only character that can pull it off, and he doesn't bury himself. He got his riffs on The Rock. You know, he gets the right crowd reaction to make it to where it doesn't matter that that segment was just a segment. It's not going to hold on his character like being any more wimpier, because The Rock's invincible with anybody at this point. You could have put Seth Rollins out there, he's going to have to job to him, which is... Yeah. I only minded that with CM Punk because you knew what was going on. Like, this is understandable. They're moving to Fox, so they got to pull out all the stops to the point where we're having a all-inclusive every sportsing press conference tomorrow in Vegas, which I was just where I live, and just like, I can't, there's no way. There's no way. I might go to Smackdown tomorrow. That's even pushing it, but...
Have you thought about it? What's keeping you from going?
I fucking hate TV. I hate going to TV. I'm so spoiled with wrestling that TV is like a drag. Like, pay-per-view is like the only thing I'll go to unless it's a PWG. And then even if at PWG, if we're not on the balcony, if I'm not sitting there, if I can't see Meltzer's notes over his shoulder from a story away, Mr. Meltzer.
Do you ever think, and I know we love to talk about the star system, but everybody else does. Do you ever think that Meltzer writes his stars in pencil, and then midway through a match is just like, that had a 3.5 stars, now it's 3.
But he has to stay with it. He can't. He only takes off the shading. He has to stay in line. If it takes off the half, the whole star.
I like to think,
still intact.
In my head, Meltzer never took the SATs. He just did star systems throughout and ranked the questions.
No, on his Scantrons, they were always, he couldn't help, but when he filled them in, they were always misread. He always got them all wrong because they were stars.
Well, people would always go, they'd be like, Mr. Meltzer, you actually wrote an additional star. Like, you can't do half Scantron fill out. He's like, yeah, it was 2.5 of a question, if you really look at it.
Thank you for taking my bit. That was perfect. You said it better than I could. But it's only funny because it's true. Like, we sat there and watched him with his legs crossed like a lady with his little clipboard.
Like a classy lady, please. Thank you. With
white gloves on and a calligraphy pen. He's almost like the LacyEvans of wrestling journalists. Is he not? Like, he don't. When I bumped into him at PWG, like, I was just... Okay, in my head, it was a real split second. I was like, okay, I'm going to talk to this dude like a human being. Like, I'm not going to mark out. Like, I randomly bumped into him, and I was like, what's going on, man? Doing good? And he put his head, fine, good. Like, immediately, just like, don't talk to, there might as well have been Alvarez, like, there going like, no, geek, you can't talk to Mr. Lady of the Night Star.
See, I had a very different interaction with him. My interaction was when I was covering for the UFC, and we were in the media section, and I sat next to him because I was like, well, I'm going to take the opportunity and sit next to Meltzer. I mean, when am I going to get this again? Who knows? And I had said one comment about wrestling, and it was at a UFC event, and he immediately went into like, oh, well, yeah, I mean, look at those guys. You got to look, Brock, the way that they're holding Brock right now, you know, they're really going to be utilizing him in the future and doing this. And I go, oh, he's talking to me like, this is a thing, like, this is an actual analysis. Like, he's not treating me like a fan, which was very cool. Even though I 100%, and I don't break this decorum often, but I went up to sit next to him for this intended purpose of, be Dave Meltzer now, please. Thank you.
He doesn't even, he's so schizophrenic, he doesn't want that. He doesn't know what he wants. You hear it in the way the way he gives his recaps. It's so back and forth. That's why he has somebody carry him. But he does seem polished on all of his AEW segments in his extra medium, though. I mean,
we'll come back to Meltzer a little bit later. I need to get more of your thoughts just on, you like the stage. I love the stage. The stage between that and Raw have just been amazing. So I've been a huge fan of just that presentation. But tell me a little bit. So obviously, that was part of the show. Did you feel weird seeing them have a red carpet or a blue carpet, if you would, or did that seem to actually fit in?
Yeah, it fits in. It's all about the aesthetic. Why wouldn't they have? Where are you going? Why wouldn't they have a carpet? What was the whole? They should have rolled Charlotte Flair's carpet out from WrestleMania the whole way. Like that's the whole thing. It was a big deal. Like this is a blue carpet event. Fox is so intent on making it such a big thing that they had to roll. I mean, you're the only smart enough guy to see that they rolled out the carpet for. Is it only for the premiere? Like, are we gonna if the carpet is not there on Friday, are you gonna be mad? Like, that would be a premiere thing to do, right?
So here's the thing that I'm still trying to figure out is what the show is going to be, like their recap show that they do on Fox Sports, because they're going to treat it like an actual cable sports element rather than more of the entertainment side. They're going to give it that. The other thing I'm looking for is the one thing I did see that they were talking about in the articles was they said they were going to use a longer lens, and I saw that when they were walking out. It was just a wider angle that gives you a full spectrum of how big their presentation is. I thought that was pretty dope.
Well, not to interrupt you on that point, what I took away from it is that hard shot on the side when they first came out, to where it was almost kind of like overbearing, to where you could see the sides of the entrance tunnel or whatever, and it's all lit up, but you can see such a hard shot of the wrestler, of their profile, that it all kind of blended into this. It was almost like it was overproduced. The one on Raw, the wide shot when they were walking out, it shows their whole Titantron, and the floor becomes a screen too. So it was just like, it almost just like snow. When you get a full screen of snow when Seth Rollins came out, it was almost, my eyes just at 40 years old just wonked out. But the SmackDown, but then you said it goes to that hard shot, which I don't know if we take into account for when we're watching it. That's all on purpose. And that's why AEW is so much different, because they have that WCW style long shot, to where they almost have the cameras. When WCW was all cool, when they had the cameras that would pan when like on ropes, basically, that would come through a comedy club. But that's what the aesthetics are different. What do you feel works better?
Honestly, I think that they need to just really hang on the fact that they're the big show, like really go and show all that they're capable of, because to me, I think that's what's going to make the difference. My wife sent me a very funny text. So I'm watching AEW right now and I'm catching up on that. But yesterday, while it was recording on the TV, my wife sends me a note, because she has a moment when she's watching and then she catches a little bit of it. And she said, watching this weird wrestling thing makes me realize how good the people in WWE are. And I was like, babe, what? Be nice. Yeah.
Wait, what? That's funny, because as a seasoned, aren't you kind of taking away the opposite of it at this point? That's kind of what I took away from last night, at least.
So I think what she's alluding to is, she might have saw a match with two people that she wasn't invested in, and just either as characters, or she just kind of realized like, oh, there is going to be a little rough around the edges at times, because say what you will, and we do have some things to say about what happened with wrestling on Sunday. And right.
So what you're trying to tell me is that she appreciated. So first of all, she likes the dramatic. You've already alluded to the total.
No, divas, I think the idea is that they're supposed to say something to the effect of they're supposed to be the athletic show, and if somebody who just is kind of like a casual viewer watches and goes, okay, maybe, and she's just one case study, but I just found it very funny that she was in a place of being like, I have no reason to need to comment on any of this other than it's on the DVR right now. But so she sent me that message, and I was just like, babe, be nice, they're new. And she goes, I know, I'm gonna be nice to them, they're trying.
I had a completely different interaction with a casual fan when I told him that there was a new wrestling. He tried to be funny about it, like, are these all just old wrestlers' sons? But then when he started watching it, and he's like, "Oh, smooth flip. Oh, Asian ladies. This is this is." So the whole fact that they have Asian ladies was such a throwback to get his interest in. He really thought it was WCW and Bischoff, and he kind of got a better kick with Fat Jericho and just all these kind of like throwback to when it was on cable. And it kind of, I think the gritty feel of it is what they're trying to put out there. Because
so here's what I want from Jericho at this point. I want Jericho to go full Marlon Brando, and like, you know, as he starts to get a little bit there, and just be like, where he can barely cut promos anymore.
That's so perfect.
My boy, they didn't. What you doing on my boy? No, this is how I now cut promos. And you're being like, that's beautiful, Jericho. We can't tell a lick of words that you are saying at this point anymore.
It's like if Bon Jovi was tough. He's at this weird, that purple jacket was just kind of put him in this new weird space. I don't know if he's trying to be Hugh Hefner and Marlon Brando, or if he thinks he's in Fozzy still, or what this weird hybrid is, and that's why it's fucking great, because it's confusing, and he knows what he's doing with every fucking piece of it.
Yeah, I mean
my fault, Le Champion, when we refer to him.
Yes, please. I want to bring up, okay, so let's talk about the big shocker that did happen at SmackDown, though, because I think that was huge, and I'll tell you my interpretation of it, but there was a huge ending. What was the ending at SmackDown?
So they had a 5-second match. So we've had this 1.5-year journey with Kofi Kingston. We all know that Brock's going to take the belt, and they do a 5-minute squash match, which everybody's upset with. And the only way they saved it, and we knew this was kind of going to happen with Fox when they were going to do a hard crossover was coming with something, and they alluded to that with the Tyson Fury. And I thought they did a great job with it by having Rey Mysterio's music hit, because we kind of forgot about that he murked him and his son the week before, because you were just so into the storyline what was presented with the Kofi. And then Rey came out, and then it looked like blown up. It looked like Dominic just aged like 20 years before your eyes, until
he got one of the Infinity Stones and went to go get Dominic from like 2025.
Dude, so I was thinking when he came out, because I know I'm a little bit, I know who Cain Velasquez is, but as like you said, like a casual fan, if you didn't know both worlds, the only way you're going to kind of pick up on it casually is when he took his shirt off and he had the Brown Pride tattoo. Then the Google would be, I guess, Brown Pride MMA. And so you can see that Cain Velasquez, and then you had a Wikipedia him and saw that he beat Brock Lesnar's ass. But yeah, Cain Velasquez comes down, and I guess it's pertinent for those who know the story, right? For you, being an MMA smart, you're like, oh shit, like this is the only dude that, you know, can say that Brock Lesnar's scared of him or put him down. But I think Daniel Cormier would have kind of an argument there too. And
I really want to get in this fight, and I'm so excited to tell you guys what a big pro wrestling fan I am. But I'm basically being Carl Winslow in the UFC, and I just get real excited to talk too loud than I need to, and that's my magic because I'm Daniel Cormier. Is that about right?
But you have to be real nice on your send-off. Like, God bless, say hi to your family.
Except if it's John Jones fighting him, then it's just like, fuck this clown.
If I would have closed my eyes and not known what you're doing, it was almost like if Cosby wasn't a comedian.
Don't do that to him. No.
Was an MMA. Well,
because he does love him some Popeyes.
I pass the half guard, and I get on top of him, and I give him a Jello pudding pop, if you know what I mean.
And once you get on top, you just... Oh, wait, it's not even that. It's just... you know what it is? I got rid of my Cosby. That's what happened. I literally looked at my Cosby and I go, let's get rid of it. I don't need that anymore.
Yeah, of course. You can't listen to Michael Jackson anymore, even though he's your boy. You
can listen to Michael Jackson because I don't believe those guys. Cosby's people. Cosby has a lot.
All of his knockouts end in REM sleep.
So talk about let's discuss the idea that when you do have the use of Cain Velasquez, who's been teased on the UFC side as coming back and coming back and coming back. And they keep saying, like, don't worry, he's injured, he's injured. He's perpetually injured in our sport of MMA. But then, for funsies, he's gone down to do some luchador shows, and nobody's really thought anything of it. And I felt stupid having not seen it coming. I looked at that angle and I said, man, I didn't actually call that one. Because I just thought, logically, why would the UFC ever give up on him fully? And it turns out he doesn't really fully have a contract with them at the moment. He's kind of in weird limbo with them. So that's when the WWE stepped in. And I think that you get a little 2-for-1 here. You get 2-for-1 in the sense that Vince gets to hang with his boy Dana White and be like, oh, Dana.
I've been hanging.
Not to the extent that fans would think. No. They've partnered on certain people, but those people are really Ronda and Brock. Everybody else, you think Dana's calling and checking to see how Matt Riddle's doing? You think Dana even remembers Shayna Baszler from years ago?
Matt Riddle's fishing for Dana's attention so tough.
I mean, Riddle's moved on. Riddle's like, I need another bald dude to feud with a few people I have weird feelings on. Goldberg, what are you up to?
Right? A couple of weeks ago, he tweeted at Dana, like, remorsefully, like, look, you're the reason, that's a wrong use of remorseful, but you're the reason my career, you're the reason I persevere, you're the reason I picked a fight with bald white dudes. Like the whole nine, but Shayna's a whole different thing, and that's why Cain Velasquez is too. He gets a little of the Shayna rub because he's probably a fan of wrestling, like deep down in his soul. Like Shayna was such a PWG mark, but
see, I think Cain. Shayna was a legit actual fan, and I think Cain needs to find something else to do to make the monies.
How much
I think
money
that he appreciates it. I think it's
him?
big. It's big. I think they're in the mill category, and I don't know that you can get a mill for as few dates as I'm sure they have him. They didn't even have him locked in. So Mark Ramaldi, who's a MMA journalist who has a big appreciation for the world of professional wrestling, he had the exclusive first interview with Cain right after. I think he might have been sitting on the story. I'd have to ask him. Next time I see him, I'm going to be like, did you already have that written? Because it was out pretty quick, Mark.
Yeah, no, they knew.
No, but Mark was the first person to actually have an interview ready to go. And when he did, he released it, and they said, we don't actually have a deal finalized. And it wasn't until that morning that they said, guess what? We've actually closed down a deal for Saudi Prince money for him to go on over to Crown Jewel.
That's a lot easier then, right? I mean, at least this time around, the Saudis got, at least it's fresh, and they're doing the Tyson Fury, Braun Strowman thing there too. Yeah, that's this. If this was the first Saudi show, this would almost be acceptable. If they had,
I have to say, it is pretty impressive though that the UFC, they didn't really mind it. They're just kind of like, all right, whatever. But in terms of Fox, they had the first person who appeared on Fox television in a major fight in Cain Velasquez. He was used in that first fight in their deal back in 2012, I believe it is, 2012, 2011.
You're the only person that knows that, first of all.
No, a lot of people know that. But then after they do that, then they also bring him back in for the very first Smackdown on Fox. So it is interesting to see how they kind of use him as bookends. And it's smart because he drew about 6 million or 7 million people in that first fight millions of years ago. And lo and behold, Smackdown does a really good rating. I believe it got like a 1.4 or something as well. Did a really good number.
They touted the overall number was over 3.5.
So I'm gonna make sure we just delineate two things. When I say 1.4, that's in the 18 to 49, and in most broadcast networks, that's what we go by. So obviously, the numbers I put out for AEW were right on the money. The only thing I didn't do right was I didn't caveat and say I think I said somewhere around 750K was what they would do. I didn't say that would be in the demo. But overall, AEW doing 1 point, you didn't do any of that. AEW doing 1.4 as an actual show was very, very impressive.
My honest answer was 1 million on the show last time. Yeah, what the fuck? I said 2 million, actually. So
here's the difference, though. Both of mine were actually right. So it was just a matter of saying, What demo? So a lot of people like to talk millions and millions, but the real number that most people tend to go by that sells ads is in the 18 to 49. And if you can hit that 18 to 34, which is what I suspect AEW is going to try and win on, and I think that's why they threw the youngest demo reaching WWE audience in NXT at them, it was a good counter programming. So now we're in a point that yesterday they had baseball, and all things considered, AEW actually did pretty well. AEW ended up doing 1.14 million in total audiences, and then
That's consistent. Good.
I
Again, the
think
same. Yeah.
I think we're waiting to hear what WWE did, but I mean it's a good number. So even against baseball, like we're in a good time. So everybody got good numbers. Everybody was a hero this week. I would say this though. The WWE in playing it with Cain is realizing AEW is going to take this outside track. Jericho's been on all the major shows, like hitting the talk show circuits, doing the best he can to promote on the outside fringe shows, whereas the WWE goes, get me Tyson Fury. Get me Cain. And they're playing the big guy role. And I think, that's actually kind of cool. Tyson Fury, I don't always watch his fights, but I know what's going on with him. And I think it's a pretty smart move to bring him into the fold.
They said on Twitter it was like a dollar store Tyson and Austin, but that's what the WWE is known for. Think about the first WrestleMania. Think about WrestleMania 3 when they brought in Alice Cooper, when they had Liberace, Mr. T. They've had Bob Uecker. That's what the WWE's been all about. They just will never be able to do the rockin' wrestling connection again so fluidly. I mean, even for NXT, who they bring out to do the Street Profits debut, and nobody batted two eyebrows at it because everybody was more into Wiz Khalifa. Was that Wiz Khalifa?
Well, yes, good illustration of your point. I think that one of the things that's interesting, though, is when you do look at how they're building, it looks like the WWE has been saving their big stars because they haven't been using some of their biggest names that they can attract. Now they're just kind of like, are you on a reality show? Like, get in there. We'll put you on a Divas episode or something, whatever. Just get the fuck in there.
How dare you? I went to that WrestleMania when Snooki was in that that mixed tag match with Trish Stratus, and she did really good. Fuck off. That's like Tyson Fury. I don't know. I've never seen a Tyson Fury fight. I'm not.
He's good, man. You should.
No, I know, but boxing's not like it was when I was a kid. The Mike Tyson's, Evander Holyfield. It wasn't such. Everything's under such a like a vacuum now. Like it's not cable anymore. That's why this is weird that this is working with this TNT. And back to your point, I think with baseball having it survive, the replays are really helping it. Because when I was talking to my friend, the show was done live, and I was like, "Oh, but this new wrestling on TNT," and he flipped it over, and boom, there it was. It's on True TV, on replay and stuff. I mean, the outlets of it are going to hit people casually just flipping, which is harder to do with the WWE network because it's such a Pandora thing to like Spotify service to be streaming these days. Just a streaming.
Okay. None of that made any sense. With their Pokemon, Nintendo switching back and forth.
That's going to happen too. The WWE Go. You ever think there's a Pokemon Go in the center of the wrestling ring? Like some asshole.
Poor children are going to get trampled. There's going to be a lot of families that get torn apart by a WWE Go. It's like, there's a Macho Man Randy Savage in the middle of that ring. Let's go get it.
Ooh, yeah. So, Smackdown was interesting, but Raw survived even after the debacle of Hell in a Cell, which was...
Well, let's please put in the context what the debacle of Hell in a Cell was.
Well, I don't know how to even explain it to the point that they had a disqualification in a no disqualification match. It's like saying if you really went to hell, there would be like any kind of rules at all that you couldn't fornicate and pillage, or that would get you thrown into heaven. I get where would that put you? It's such a backwards.
Here's the problem. I do not always watch events live, and it is problematic, I find, when the buzz that you do get sent to you, like even the WWE app, it did something similar that my MLB app did to me yesterday with the Dodgers, where they just go, "You don't want to know, you're good," and I was like, "Oh, okay."
I'm out of here.
But I just look down and I go, like yesterday, I get the note about the Dodgers, and I was like. And I was watching, I took a moment. My wife and I went to a dog park. We had other Dodgers fans. We're literally looking at screens, and I go 3-up. I was like, okay, cool. We're about to get in a car. So I don't know that I'm going to put it on my phone in the car, but let's see what's happening. And I'm like, I'm actually just going to enjoy time with my wife, my dog. We're just having good family time.
Dare you.
They caught up by 1 run. Okay. Well, let's see what's happening now. My wife looks at me when I say, I have some bad news. And she goes, what's the bad news? And I go, well, the Dodgers are now behind. We're in the 10th inning. Yeah, it's
you shut it down. You shut it down. You missed the back-to-back home run part of that. Are you kidding me? See, this is the wrong conversation to be having with me. If we're going to go on this tangent, we're doing this hard. Now, you hit a heartstring. I knew that was going to happen. You're not a true Dodger fan. I put out the post on Facebook that the only reason we were going to win this is because we blow it in the division series. Well, that's what we're known for. The Kershaw has a meltdown. I was sitting there waiting for it. I was even had a video game on deck, on demand, just waiting for and after he hit the home run, it was not a bad pitch to go and fish. So you weren't watching it live. That was a hell of a pitch.
Maybe you're answering your own question as to why I would not watch it live. Because maybe, unlike you, where you're like, I know what's going to happen, and I'm going to watch it just so I can say what happens. I know what's going to happen too. And you know what happens when I watch it? I literally look and I go, I know what the fuck's going to happen. Fuck this noise. I'm not going to get that angry. Because if I watch it and I get angry, then I don't feel great for the rest of the day. At the very least, if I put a minimal amount, I do this with my wife where I say this. I tell her, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to waste your time with the dumb games. We got to wait until you get there. Because last year, when we're watching, I just looked at her and I go, listen, I was going to make you watch some of these elimination rounds, and it just gets it's not great for health.
I feel like my mom now. She's like, I can't even watch. She never came to any of my games because it'd make her nervous. Anytime there's like a pressure, I can't watch. I can't. She didn't watch.
When I was a kid, I used to come up with the phrase where I'd say, for the good of the city, I won't watch this game. And I would be like, fuck that. Because it's your fault. I would always feel. I would feel like something happened.
Yeah, I felt that
egotistical. It's just you're so egotistical, but I know what you're feeling. I felt that too. I just think of it like this: do you know the inevitable letdown? And so the way I'm connecting the two, because we have to keep it wrestling based, is I know sometimes with a show like Hell in a Cell, I go, I'm not really sold. I'm happy with The Fiend. I'm glad that's happening. Seems to have some momentum to it, but they're going to do something fucking stupid because it's not WrestleMania and it's not a big enough one of the 4 big shows. So what are they going to do? Hell in a Cell comes in and they do a disqualification. The WWE app goes, oh man, you won't believe what happened. And I was like, I actually would. And I went to go look at the footage and I said, oh yeah, I didn't need any part of this.
Dude, it went. So he took out a chair. So he got him with a chair. That was acceptable. And he took out a ladder. That was acceptable. No, he took out a bunch of chairs, which was acceptable. A ladder, something else I can't remember. And then he hit him with a sledgehammer, which is notoriously used by Triple H in every chance opportunity he gets. And that's when it's not that even it ended. Like I get like it was gonna be a ref stoppage, like he murdered him, but like it just ended. And then they'd even announced it and it went off like it was a DQ, which that's I guess how it's held, which makes absolutely no fucking sense. And then what even made it worse is after like 5 minutes of one room was going on, Bray Wyatt just all of a sudden gets up like nothing happened and fucking wrecks shop. And it ends with this whole pyro and the laugh that we've seen for the last fucking 6 weeks. Like, I get it. It's cool. It's cool. Aesthetically, money. But Like I was reading a post too. Why the fuck is Bray Wyatt even doing this? Like, are we to assume that he has his own production company, like a cable access? Like he takes the time to film the Firefly Funhouse out of angst towards anything that has to do with the wrestling storyline? Like it's cool, but what the fuck are they doing with it? Why would that deem him as a WWE champion? Not that I want Seth Rollins. I don't think Seth Rollins is cool, and people are like almost trying to murder him after the end of that. But it's almost like they did a rinse and wash of it. You know what I mean? To where we're still gonna tune in on Monday. They got Pyro. You know, and I thought of you actually when they threw when Lacey threw Natalya up the ramp and she slid down. I was like, that's what it's for. That's the only thing. It's a fucking. They might as well put water on it. They might as well fuck a blue carpet. Where's the slip and slide?
That's exactly what they did. You know what it was? It was Vince backstage, looks at all the crew and just goes, "Now if you guys are good, I'm gonna get you a slip and slide, Titantron. Now you guys better out-brawl and out-screw up AEW. Highs and lows have to be bigger than theirs."
Guaranteed within 2 months somebody does a skateboard trick off that shit because of Darby.
Hold on.
Darby All-In
here from Logan Gonzalez that says, people said, I'm a boycott Raw, and then they got the same kind of rating. Yeah, because the base of Raw is always going to be families. Like, if you have a built-in base, the thing that's hard for people to really contextualize on this whole war between the two is, like, AEW is kind of playing it right where they say, like, listen, it's not a war. Like, we want to go head-to-head with them, but they're an enterprise, and we're trying to beat them in one respect, if we can, on one night. But they are a behemoth. So when they say, like, hey, guess what? Here comes Stone Cold, they expect certain people who don't watch every week to still be nostalgic to come in for a pop. But for this particular one, they were probably... Maybe we're in an era where they go, you know, I want to see them work their way out of this box. I want to see them explain to me what the fuck this horse shit was.
It's almost like it's almost like muscle memory. Where I'm going to turn it on. What am I watching? I'm watching Raw at a certain time. That's what Monday nights is. Like, it's just, if you're a wrestling fan, I'm not a football guy, so football is never going to get in the way of what's happening on Monday. Although, Kill Tony, which is the best live comedy podcast in the world, no plugs, not a sponsor, are on Mondays, but I'm not going out of my way to put it on YouTube and, like, fish it out against if I'm watching Raw. It's like almost counterproductive because YouTube's always there, but in this, you know, Twitter kind of want to watch live stuff, yeah, I'd rather watch Raw.
Can I also say this though? Maybe this is something people aren't thinking about, but you know, everybody likes to talk about how Raw isn't what it used to be, or that they're not looking at the bigger picture, or that Raw's dropping the ball, or the WWE's dropping the ball. Did anybody ask if football's dropping the ball? Maybe that's why people tune in. Maybe, you know, that current storyline over on ESPN isn't getting over right now, and that's why people tune into Raw to see what was happening. Because I'll tell you this much, dude. I think what happens with viewers, I think when they're doing this now and they're just like, nah. I think they're just so bored at certain aspects of it. We don't have enough to hold an attention. You need spots, you need moments. And I think that part of the reason why we just channel surf half the time is because we don't want to watch those commercials. So we just look over on Raw, and anybody who is tuning in live still, bless your soul. But the people who are tuning in live are just like, nah.
Well,
I guess we'll see what's happening on Raw.
a casual viewer would definitely do that. But they have it to the point where wrestling has that figured out, to where they have, when there is a commercial, they keep the feed on, which was great, which was used the best they're ever going to use it on AEW's premiere with the whole Jericho thing, how he went full Chaplin on him. But yeah, I think they get it. That's why they run the risk of almost losing the hardcore wrestling fan with 3, 4, 5-minute matches as opposed to a 25-minute banger, which Kenny Omega and Joey Janela just had in a fucking dark match. I mean, they're even to the AEW's to the point where they're going to make the shit count on everything they do. It's not a throwaway on like Superstars or fucking Main Event or whatever, you know, or they just threw away 205 Live recently. Nobody, I mean, if a 205 Live falls in the woods, does anybody hear it? Like, I guess, you know what I mean? I guess not. You know, I was watching, that was the thing I took away from this whole Leo Rush and Drew Gulak match, was the way it was announced was the NXT Cruiserweight Championship. Like, since when? Which makes sense because it's going to be under that umbrella, but like, what? Okay. So I think AEW is doing a better job of, you know, Cody cut this dark promo where he was saying, you know, are you guys having it? So it seems like you guys are having a good time tonight. And I thought to myself, like, the WWF never fucking does that ever. Like, wholeheartedly has like their fate. Roman Reigns will do it, like, say what's up and get the reaction just for a pop, but like they don't give a shit. You know what I mean? That's why the ratings are gonna be stable.
Well, speaking of which, here's what Logan is asking right now. Logan is asking us, does SmackDown do a 4-2 again this Friday? So this is why I love fans. Fans speak in a completely different reality of ratings, where they're just like, they try to speak with it. No, they're like, hey, do you know they're going to do a 4-2? I think they're going to do a 249. I believe that is what the question is, yes. No, everything is going to slide.
420?
Everything is.
He's just trying to be funny for 420.
I think he might be trying to reference millions as well. So, again, here's what I would say.
Millions.
I would say that as a whole, if SmackDown is in the high 2s to the low 3s, they're doing their job. I think that's all I need to.
2-1 is my over-under.
You're saying millions?
Millions.
Okay. Again, all of you are very bad at discussing ratings. Like,
no, I'm doing it in your context. I'm doing.
No, you're not. That was his context. It's 4.2.
I'm playing his game. You want to play the game? It's time to play the game.
It's just, you know what it is? It's
what? It's the. Want to talk to Lemmy? What do you want me to do?
In Spaceballs.
You need a new. You need a new theme song.
That's what this is.
The game. Am I done? No?
Yeah,
okay.
Done. You eased him into Macho Man's distant cousin. It's like, oh, hey, brother, how you doing? It's been good to see you.
No, this is Lemmy. We need a new theme song for Triple H.
Triple H. Yeah, someone was saying this recently. I think Eric Bischoff is like, I don't have any impressions, but I do have a Macho Man. Everybody has a Macho Man impression. Yeah. Everybody should, like, it's an easy impression to do. And I was like, it's an easy impression to do, but not an easy impression to do well. Because a lot of people do really shitty versions of impressions. So, yes. Anyway, Logan, to answer your question, I would say 3 million would be great if they could hold it. But they're probably going to be about 2,700,000 is a good rating for them to hold.
You just on Friday nights. Fucking guess out from under. That's, oh my God. That's what I said.
You said 2 million. And more importantly, I'm trying to tell you that you guys can't just keep saying 2.7. It doesn't make any sense.
Price is right.
Don't forget the big press conference tomorrow. So don't forget the big conference tomorrow, Mike.
Should I go?
It's up to you.
Take like a Triumph, like a knockoff Triumph, and sell Comic Dog and try to be all like, hey, I'm here to be funny. Look at me.
We got Pac and commentary on this one today.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It was.
Does he add a bunch of commentary?
British. Yeah, because it's British. He talks about the tea. He talks about the tea and the crumpets and all the queen and. No, well, he's supposed to not want to talk to them, right? He's supposed to be a bastard.
That's great television. Good job. Okay.
No, the big rub is that they can say shit now on TNT.
Oh, yeah, because it's late.
Is that why, or they can't say shit at, like, what's the cutoff for?
They used to say at, like, 10 p.m. you could say shit, but I think that rule is eased. And now you got Moxley walking out like a dude who wants to get on, like, one of the weight sets at your local gym. just waiting to hit his reps, but some bro has just been on it for 20 minutes straight and won't let him bang, bro. And dude, you know what? This is great. They just kept a group of guys who are just like, yeah, I'll clap for that. Good job.
No, that's why they hit a...
Oh, God.
The AEW crowd is definitely revolting. They're definitely playing a role that they think they're supposed to play. Almost. It's almost organic. It's almost organic.
No, it's basically like movie extras that know they're in a movie and try to play it down, but in actuality are playing it up, where they're just like, this popcorn is good, but they do it like this.
The dude is wearing... wait till they see the front row. I guarantee you there's a guy in a Bullet Club shirt with a jacket, like a like a formal jacket over it. It's like, yep, this is what I'm wearing, and I'm gonna set the standard. The AEW was good. AEW was good. I like it. That's why
You were saying it was scaring you. Why is it gonna scare you right now?
Because it feels bigger. It feels bigger than... I don't want to watch NXT. Like, I like NXT, but I'm more into this kind of vibe right now. They went out the gate with that Private Party Young Bucks match. They did, they hit all the exciting spots. The crowd was into it because it was a spot fest like it should be. They played the swerve good enough to where the Young Bucks lost, and I don't think a lot of people were expecting it. Maybe, if you're super smart, and you know what I mean. And that just gives the Young Bucks credit to where they want to put over new guys. And Private Party look like stars. I mean, I almost tweeted that, greater than the Street Profits. They are way better than the Street Profits, although I like Angelo Dawkins. What Angelo Dawkins is backstage, I feel like Montez Ford's a little overbearing, but, and then they, it's just different. Like the Jimmy Havoc, Darby Allin match, then they went with the Japanese influence. Like I said, my friend Asian ladies were on that. And then they do this hardcore. Dean Ambrose didn't take his pills, or he took too much Adderall, or whichever way you want to look at it. Like, yeah, it's a good way it's a good combination. I think NXT's trying to do that, but I don't know. It kind of seems like there is a difference for once, and it's good. It's nice. I would rather watch AEW, and I didn't think I would be at that point.
Why didn't you think you would be at that point?
I don't know, man, because I don't want to be bandwagony. You know what I mean? It's just better. That's why we like going to PWG. That kind of work is, they kind of did tone it down. It's not a PWG match, and NXT does have PWG matches with Adam Cole, Matt Riddle, and the Keith Lee, Dijakovic stuff. But the tone of it's just, like my friend said, he thought he was watching WCW for a second. I think there's a spot for that. I think, our heart, as a wrestling fan, our heart, lost a little when it went away, and it's kind of refreshing. And the Young Bucks and Cody are real adamant about saying it's for us, and it's kind of nice. Like I kind of thanks guys. Oh, they listen to me. Like the time.
One of the things that's I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I was gonna riff for no reason.
Okay. One of the things that I did find interesting is the Young Bucks had been saying they had been trying to convince people to let other people go over for a long period of time. They kept saying to Tony, who's still big on this wins and losses matter sort of parable, and they said, no, we want to lose. Like their first venture together, I believe, they were like, no, we actually want to not win this one, and Tony was like, no, you got to win. And they got overwritten. So on the second episode, for them to get overwritten where they themselves are losing and not like a mega tag match where it's easy to kind of bury, it was nice to see that they got their way, that they basically got to say, hey, we want to lose so we can help put over new talent.
Well, that's smart on Tony Khan's part, because the first thing I thought about, that's what was going on with Kenny Omega. They can't write the same, because the only logical storyline is that the Young Bucks put themselves in a hole like 1-8, and then they have to fight their way back, and they fight all the way back through 2 months. But Kenny Omega, they did that in such a short amount of time to where he had the breakdown in a month to where he's becoming a new character. They can't do 2 and 1. I don't know if your boy Tony Khan is responsible for that, but it's. I mean,
I couldn't be. Honestly, I wouldn't even know. But I thank you for your question. And, I'm going to look into that. I'm going to see if I do have something to do with it. I really don't know sometimes, but thank you. That's really nice.
It's your birthday today, Mr. Khan. How are you going to celebrate it?
Oh, well, like I do every day with a call from Tony, big Tony, which is what I call my dad because I'm Tony and he's Tony. I don't know if that's true. I never really met him. But I would tell you this. I always start my day with a call from the Young Bucks, and I love them, and they're great. And I would say to them, oh, my God, Young Bucks, you guys are I love you guys, But yeah, the numbers and the statistics are great. I'm going to read some statistic sheets for my birthday, and then afterwards I'm going to go ahead and, I'm going to cut a cake proportionally, accurately fine. I'm going to get the best statisticians in the world to go ahead and do it for me.
That's fair. What do you think about the Jaguars' performance this week?
Oh, okay. The Jags, I've been reading a lot in the newspaper that say, maybe they're jag-offs. I mean, that's a really unfair and unbiased. I mean, we're not really about that product here at AEW. To tie it back in, we're not really jag-offs, but we could be. Maybe that's what we should do. Maybe we should put together a tag team that's called the Jag-offs. I'm going to really look into that. Thank you.
Do you think, are you going to try to buy a team in the XFL at this point?
No, I can't. I can't really see us doing that right now. Thank you, though.
You just need a suit. You need to have.
Well, now I have the goddamn banner.
That's a legit banner.
Thank you.
I'm like I said, you got a little. I don't want to desecrate it by trying to fit in that. There's a perfect spot right there for the real heel section, but I don't know if we're. Like you can do it.
The grappling hour is
and earn like your football helmet. Like when anytime you get a good hit, you get that little Oklahoma Sooner bullshit on your helmet that we can do.
What's great?
Wheel of Fortune.
I have there's a little piggy bank kind of a thing. It's a football, right? And every time you put money in it, there's a voice that just goes touchdown, but it sounds just like The Rock. And it freaks me out every time because I'm like, why is The Rock in this football? And
winning.
I mean, you are winning. I mean, I'll get it for you in just a second, just so you can hear it, because I want you to understand what I understand, which is I'm like, this is a little bit. We had somebody send me a message right now that just said happy birthday. It's not my real birthday, everybody.
Mr.
I was
Khan,
playing Tony Khan.
Happy birthday. Do you think he has somebody? Mr. President of AEW,
100%. The Young Bucks together.
It's my party. Okay, yeah, that's what next week. No, you do it now. It's my as Tony Khan. It's my party. I can book if I want to. Book it if I want.
This is me celebrating when I saw AEW's ratings. And it was great. I really loved it because, it's all about the fans, and my birthday is all about the fans if you really break it down, because that's what it is. And I'm so happy that they're all over the place on my birthday, and I love that when I can have all my friends come back in, and I love you guys for watching, and I love that,
I hope people. I want there to be people that you don't know that you're doing a Tony Khan impersonation and that you just don't.
They just sent me happy birthday notes.
These fits. This is his split personality.
Well, the thing is like they never see me this animated, so I'm pretty sure they're like, Raf's doing a character. He doesn't.
Okay, no, and how dare you? You have the gall to tell me that you kill it on the dance floor at weddings, like you're 6-0 wedding dance champion.
6-0? How many weddings do you think I've been to, dog? I've been to a million weddings.
And this is you couldn't even give me this. Like you couldn't even give me like one of these.
You think Tony Khan is that coordinated to do that? This is how Tony Khan. You want to see how Tony Khan does the Macarena? Well, first you got to go ahead and start here because this is the beginning of it. And then if you're really starting to build, you got to make sure you can't just go here. It's all about story when you get to this. So it's not just this and this. You want to make sure you're telling a really good story. And there's actually statistics that show when you start here and here first, you don't actually get the full rotation that you're looking for with the Macarena. So I actually just jumped to here. And then I stay here for a while because it's very comfortable. And
a little bit of Monica, who was a nice girl. And we spent a lot of time together. And it was 2014. It was a good summer, and a little bit of Jennifer. Jennifer, that was a whole other story.
So, fun part about Lou Bega, I once went to a concert, and he was there, and he was performing. He was the closer. And I think the best part about it was when he was the closer. I've never seen an artist give up because he had 2 songs at the time, and people forget about his other song called "Freaky Freaky" or something to the effect of that.
Who
But
remembers that besides
I
you?
remember everything, but here's the actual point of it. He
Come,
literally
come,
started
buddy.
off with
Fresh
Mambo number
shit.
5, then goes into "Freaky Freaky" before closing with, you guessed it, Mambo number 5 one more
No.
time. Within a 15-minute
Mambo number
appearance.
6.
He literally did Mambo number 5 twice. And we're not talking like the short radio edits. We're
then
talking like the
Pitbull came
extended
out.
album versions. Oh, Pitbull came out and was like, Dale, y los mi, Pitbull. So
He just started singing. He just went into halfway through. He just started singing "Hero" by Enrique Iglesias, and people were like, "Yeah," they were fine with it. This is Mambo number 10.
hey, listen, Enrique at least has several hits. The fact that Lou Vega was just like, I know this ride's going to end for me pretty soon. Bye, everybody. It was the most acceptance from a pop performer I think I've ever seen in modern history. So here's what I'm going to do for you. I want you to respond to this. When I put up on our Instagram, I said, hello, people. Do us a solid. Tell us 3 words to describe Hell in a Cell. I understand this might be my fault. Sure. I didn't specify this past Hell in a Cell, so we got some people who chimed in. Articulate BJJ says Mankind versus Undertaker.
That's fair.
I mean, all things considered, because I screwed up the question, it's not wrong, but it's wrong for what we're looking for. I just didn't specify it.
Chain link fence.
Okay, it's not meant for you, Mike. It's just
No, isn't that accurate description of Hell in the Cell?
it is. It's meant for our people who watch the show to chime in, not for the other person on who hosts.
Ref has key.
No. It's just terrible. Okay. Then someone chimed in. This is Happy Rolling. BJJ just chimed in and said, oh my God.
Fair.
Okay.
That's fair.
Then Articulate BJJ responded, stop. And it's stop as in Ronnie and Sammy Sweetheart from Jersey Shore. Stop the match.
Oh, with all the A's in it?
Yes, and then there is stop the match, that man as a family. Mike, I'm going to let you hold court for a second while I get the football that talks, but if you would, tell us what?
What is that? No, I was going to give me your segue. Leave me alone.
Just literally hold the okay. When I stepped away for like 20 seconds, you literally said, hey, why are you leaving the camera? I put the camera on you so that the other host carries it. That's how this works. So I'm telling you now, on camera, carry the show for a staggering 27 seconds.
27 and go. No, I thought what he was saying was describe it in 3 words, like, what the fuck was that? Yeah, WTF, what was the accurate reaction for that? I mean, people are describing Hell in a Cell as a debacle is a pretty easy description. Raf gets very upset when rules aren't followed. Apparently, I have this rule to carry the show, which is there's the football.
You're half the show. You have to do it. Anyway, I have the football.
No, you got me at the wrong. Of course, that's when you come in. I said the accurate what you were looking for was more like, what the fuck? Or
that's correct. Or
yeah, that would be like survey says. That'd be maybe the number 2. You know what I mean? Seth is cool.
Seth is cool.
Seth is cool. Burn it down. That would fit.
You know, when we get big enough, we will do a Family Feud version of something. But I want you to hear this, okay? And I want you to tell me that you don't hear The Rock whenever something like this happens, okay? You ready? You ready?
Go.
Okay, here we go.
Touchdown!
Does that not sound kind of like The Rock?
when he went to the University of Miami. That's what he had to do. That was his role. He got kicked off the squad, and he had
he basically signed his life away, and now they're just these mini footballs that he's like, oh, God. I was once going to tag him in it, and then I thought, I was like, ooh, what if he doesn't like that? What if other people are tagging him and saying the same thing? Maybe I shouldn't. Never mind.
Does Vin Diesel get paid every time you put... Is there a Groot that says, I am Groot, every time you put a quarter in its back?
You know, I want to reprogram a Groot so that when you press it, it actually says, because that's
$9 million.
Hey, listen, we have now reached the hour mark, which means it's time for us to sign off. Mike, do you have any final comments for the week that was? And more importantly, how's the WWE climb its way out? And are you excited for WWE Saudi Money Part 9?
Like I said, I like it. I like all of it. You're never gonna get me to not like it. But yeah, it was a good week. I feel like it's hitting its stride. I like that AEW is consistent. I thought this week's show was better than last week's. I thought the whole faction renaming and Jericho doing the impromptu, almost, it was like semi-pipe bomb, like riff on the WWE and how that got over is probably the best promo of the year so far. So yeah, no, it was fun. I might go to Smackdown tomorrow. I don't know. I have my dad actually was calling me during the show. If not to go on a long story, but he goes to a dog park every morning, and he has this guy. I'm guessing he's an older gentleman that likes wrestling and wants to go to Smackdown, but he doesn't have anybody to go with, or he just talk wrestling. I mean, asked me if I would take him to Smackdown, which puts me in a
this
completely
is
weird
so
spot,
sad. You know, this is really like, this is how parents come to accept the gay members of their family.
Okay, what the fuck? Oh, he's setting me up. I never even would even thought that to take that angle on it. That's great, but
it'd be like, my son's great. I accept it. He's great. He's a wrestling fan. Good for him.
Wow.
I should hook you guys up because all wrestling fans get along, right?
I don't want to say, if I was gay, I'd be crushing it. I mean, no, not even to. I would be straight. Trust me. I wish it was that. I wish it was easier on the other end of it, but not that made any sense either. But I don't know. I might go to SmackDown. I kind of don't want to because it's going to be a draft, which I think is interesting because they're touting it as that Fox and USA they're going to have like Fox and USA representatives make the draft picks. And like I said, I want to ask you something. Is this the most, not important, but does this draft make the most sense out of any draft they had because USA and Fox are basically pulling for these superstars to be on their network?
Yes, but I think it depends on what the WWE promised them. I mean, I like to think the WWE is like some slick talking, person that's trying to pick up two girls at the bar and is trying to play them both, and is just like, hey, yo, what's up, USA? How you doing? Yeah, I got John Cena. You want a John Cena? I got 9 John Cenas. They're all named Seth Rollins or Bray or I don't really know. Listen, I give you whatever you want. Then meanwhile, they go over. They're just like, yo, what's up, Fox? How you doing, girl? Yeah, no, I've been thinking about you all day. I got 4 different Seth Rollinses for you. I got 1 John Cena because I got 1. And then I've also got like a Roman Reigns. Do you like a Roman Reigns?
Girl, so, if you came over to Fox, we could burn it down. And you could get these hands. Do you smell what I'm cooking? Just that Boys to Men, girl. Just all the catchphrases. Girl, I'm gonna make you tap, nap, or snap. Either way, it's going down on the USA.
That's great. Yep. I will say, I think it is actually the most motivated outside reality that they can bring in for a draft.
Exactly. Basically that's what I was trying to get at. That makes the most sense out of any of these. Like they're kind of playing for something. It feels like But it still kind of feels like how the All-Star game is. They're playing for home field advantage. It's like who gives a shit kind of thing. Still gonna. They've wanted for so long for SmackDown and Raw to like butt heads. You know what I mean? The only thing you missed on your impression at the bar is like they're still dropping snide comments like, "Hey, check out Fox over here. Hey, look at Fox looks hot, but not as hot as you, USA." But they go over to USA and they're like, "Look, you know, blue. I'm gonna get you them blue carpet shoes, girl. Now fuck the red soles. I got these blue carpets for you."
By the way, can I just say something real quick here? The weirdest thing about being a student of a school called Illinois State University is that they at one point, we're known as the Redbirds, right? And there was definitely a sign at one point that we were all driving by, and we could not believe that we saw it, but yet here it was. They had a sign up above, and just like these, hanging above our beloved university that said, "Spread the red." And every one of us just looked over and said, "Could we not?" So it made me think in this theoretical scenario, you get the USA executive being like, "Yo, girl, you want to spread the red?" Who would make that? I apologize for everybody. That was a terrible phrase. Let's never do that again.
Well, I mean, it is Cancer Awareness Month. So here comes Susan G. Here comes Susan G. She's coming in hot with that pink, girl. Better hold back for that, you know.
Well, let's put it this way. We're going to leave you guys on a cliffhanger so that you guys do not know for sure whether Mike is going to SmackDown or not. You will have to tune back in next week.
I don't want to go.
Well, then I don't want to go.
And it's the draft, too. What am I going to have to fucking sit through? That's so annoying. Then how many did you knows am I going to have to fucking see? You know what I mean? It might be good, though, huh?
I think you owe it to the show and to yourself to go.
Not my dad or the puppies?
I don't know. I don't know what you owe your dad, honestly. So I don't know.
You are so unemotional, baby. Every time. Dude,
we don't have the money for the estate of Whitney Houston to be singing that song. I think we need to close now, Mike. So we will let people find out next week if you return with some first-person account of what happened at SmackDown or not. But we thank you guys for tuning in. My name is Raf of Tony. On behalf of both of us, I'd like to say thank you for joining us. If you have comments, questions, hints, allegations, all of the good like, all you have to do is follow us at Real Heel Section on all of the major platforms, or follow us at Heel Section on YouTube. We'll be bringing you more and more analysis of all things AEW, WWE, NXT, Ring of Honor. We didn't even get to that, but there's a lot of stuff going on. I was about to say,
are we? With his poignant analysis.
Literally just like say we're going to do it. We don't have to actually do it. You know what I mean?
You just defaced Ring of Honor by even wondering if it was a company anymore. How dare you, sir? I'm calling Carrie.
Are they?
Yeah, I'm calling Carrie. I'll get Carrie on the phone. Name drop. Starbucks all over the carpet.
I don't think that. Okay, we'll listen to this, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you very soon. As your good friend Raf of Tony is saying, have a good one.
You sweet me.